This is the Solana 1 month overview reading for the month of July 2025. It's currently June 27, 2025, 9:18 p.m. Eastern Time. Solana at the time of this reading, $141.56. That's USD. And the shuffle video for the July reading was created on June 5th, 2025 at 11:05 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video playing for you right here. What we're going to cover in this video will be the overall trend direction and chart behavior for the month of July for Solana. We're going to give you chart behavior to look for when trying to determine the month's highest high and the month's lowest low. We're going to give you the day-by-day sequence of chart events throughout the entire month of July, as well as one of the best trades that we see for the month at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. It's important to understand that it's the sequence of chart events as outlined by the prediction that is most important to pay attention to. The timing is usually on point to the day, but especially with these cryptos, there may be cases where you need to give it a couple days wiggle room here or there. It's the sequence of chart events that is most important to pay attention to. And for that reason, I do not recommend trading this information alone. This isn't the type of information that you're trading with price levels. You're trading with chart behavior and timing. So that if you're serious about trading this information, you must have access to the monthly access subscription on our website, Tarot for Traders, which gets you the live Discord trade alerts and live trading view chart drawings where we actually draw the entry and exit for these trades. We're usually on point, guys. Our accounts up performance-wise is up almost 900% in the last 12 months. And the majority of those trades are trades that we covered with you on the monthly access and the early access subscription, also part of monthly access. So with that said, guys, let's get into it. The overall trend and chart behavior for Solana in July, an important support level on a multi-day scale, probably a one-year chart scale with one-day candlesticks. Important support level highlighted here. It's crossed with at least one important peak on a multi-day scale that will break down from, or will decline pretty sharply out of it. Behavior around the high side there. This is going to be a notable reversal that'll really stand out amongst the reversals throughout the month. So usually what that means is that there's like a big, there's a big swing creating the high. Behavior around the lowest low for the month, a sideways fluctuating rally preceding a decline into the low. Now, I'm going to give you that day-by-day sequence of chart events and one of the best trades that I see for the month. But before we do that, guys, I just want to make sure that you're aware the whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. As a Wall Street broker, when I came to realize I didn't belong, but what was I doing there? This was what it occurred to me, was to help transmute the negative energy of the stock market into goodwill. We do that here on the resources tab. You go to our website, Tarot for Traders, to the resources tab. 5% of all profits should be donated to one of these charities. Just pick a link, click, and donate. Super, super easy. 5% of all profits should be donated back to the channel through one of these links. By doing those two things, you're expressing gratitude and you're expressing faith in more to come. And both of those are necessary mentalities as components of abundance and wealth mentality to manifest more wealth your way, my friend. So by following through on this honor code agreement, you're helping the channel, you're helping yourself, you're helping the universe. You can't go wrong with that. And it leaves you with 90%. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. Following those rules makes you an angel investor of the channel. I'm going to come at you. If you follow through on that rule regularly, I will find out, I will get to know you, because you're so few and far between the people with integrity that it's crazy. Why would you want to concern yourself with anybody else? With that said, let's get into that day-by-day sequence of chart events. So what we've got on the first, we've got a rally into key resistance on a multi-day scale. Guys, again, everything that I talk about is going to be on the scale of a multi-day chart with one-day candlesticks unless otherwise specified. But we'll have a rally on the first into key resistance. We'll break down from that resistance with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. It looks like we probably are coming out of a trough from the preceding month. Probably a trough there at the end of the month or something like that. But we're coming out of that, rallying into key resistance, most likely taking place towards the end of the day. And then we decline with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down into the second. And on the second, there's an important range on a multi-day scale that should be highlighted. I think probably at the lower end, and then by the end of the day, or around the cusp of the second, third, the upper end as well. We should have a breakout on the third. On the fourth, a prominent move higher, full retracement. Looks like it's probably a prominent move higher into a peak around the cusp of the 4th, 5th, and then a full retracement back down off of a peak into key support where we rotate sideways on the 5th. Another rally into a peak around the like the beginning of the 6th, but that rally is halted by another decline back down to those key support levels. Period of volatility on the 7th with a sharp drop that'll stand out in that period of volatility. On the 8th, we have a notable move to the upside out of an important trough. That move higher will turn over, creating a significant trade opportunity. I'm most likely going to talk about that at the end of this video. And then we have the inverse of the card, the Ace of Wands. We've got the inverse energy, which is the Ace of Cups here. Decline offering some opportunity. So out of a trough, rally on the 8th, into a peak, and then a decline from that peak into another trough on the 9th. Out of that trough towards the end of the day on the 9th, another big move to the upside. And those price swings continue through the 11th. Another trough on early in the day on the 12th. So we're probably swinging to the downside by the end of the day on the 11th into a trough. The decline on the 12th ends with a fast sudden move higher. A lot of price change covered there towards the end of the day to the upside. And that's likely some sort of fake out to the upside. I would be very careful there, guys. And the 13th is the devil card, which is an intentional fake out or shake out, some sort of tricky chart behavior. Yeah, it looks like a pop and a drop there around the cusp of the 12th into the 13th. So be very careful not to chase that move to the upside. On the 14th, sideways rotational on key support. Another significant trough, probably with a quick drop. Failed attempt to break through key resistance and a quick drop early in the day on the 15th. I'm advised not to chase the decline there, even though it'll be an important trough taking place on the 15th. Multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance on the 16th. One of the biggest declines of the month, if not the biggest decline of the month, taking place around the 17th into an important trough on the 18th, where we have mixed behavior back and forth around that trough. More mixed behavior back and forth, up and down, equal amounts of bulls and bear inflow and outflow on the 19th. And then there's a resistance level on the 20th that's highlighted that we should decline from and then return to in the not too distant future, probably on the 21st towards the end of the day, if not the 21st and the 22nd. But we have a pop and a drop on the 22nd off of sideways rotational on key support, and then an important trough around the 21st, 22nd with a prominent peak that'll stand out after making that trough towards the end of the day on the 22nd. An important price level. There's like a fake breakout or a false breakout on the 23rd. So be careful for that. It creates a peak, but it's like we'll break out through a price level momentarily, probably come back down. On the 24th, a notable move to the upside into key resistance on the 25th that we decline from and then return to probably on the 26th. We decline from the resistance and return to it probably on the 26th. Prominent trough on a multi-day scale there on the 27th. After a crest that we turn over down to and through support, we do a U-shaped reversal below that support, come back and reuse it as support. Not to mention the move to the upside on the 26th. Let me back up. The move to the upside on the 26th is that of scary chart behavior, or even in the face of seemingly overwhelming headwinds, and then it creates a crest, which we sell off from down to and through support on the 27th. We do a U-shaped reversal, breakout through that price level to the upside and reuse it as support before a big move to the upside on the 28th, pushing the upper end of a range higher. On the Bitcoin reading, I have a very significant high here. So my sense is we probably have a pretty significant high here. That doesn't mean a highest high, but a significant peak that forms here on the 28th before revisiting a trough on the 29th with sideways rotation, ending with a fast sudden move higher. On the that turns into volatility on the 30th, and that volatility ends with a fast sudden move higher and then a big drop on the 31st through multiple support levels. Mixed behavior in August. Pretty mixed behavior in August. We'll look at that in a lot more detail when we get into the August reading. Now, I'm going to give you one of the best trades that I see. It's important, guys. Do not trade this information alone. If you're new to the channel, you should paper trade this because it's not as easy as it looks. You don't just... trading isn't about knowing high and low, up and down. That's the easy part, believe it or not. The hard part is not doubting it in the actual real-time situation with your money at risk in the market. So don't trade this alone. If you're serious about trading this, get the monthly access subscription. I'm going to show you how to get that in just a moment. Otherwise, think of this as proof that extrasensory perception exists and can be used practically in the real world. So what I'm looking for is this notable move out of a trough on the 8th. Notable move that'll really stand out. notable move that'll really stand out here on the 8th. I would want to look at that opportunity for, I'd open up a short position there with the expectation to close out of that short position the very next day. After that peak turns into a decline, the rally into the peak turns into a decline into a trough on the 9th. You close the short position probably around the cusp of the 9th, 10th. Open up another long position, and well, it's a little risky there, but you could open up another long position in that trough before closing in the midst of another rally out of that trough. There's price swings here, a lot of chart behavior. The easier trade would probably to be looking for highest highs thus far, anywhere between like the 8th and the 10th. Highest highs thus far for the month, meaning that there could be another highest high. But highest highs thus far or close somewhere around the 8th, 9th, 10th. An easier trade would be just to open up a short and hold that short into probably the cusp of the 9th, 10th. If you miss that opportunity, you'd have another opportunity likely around the 12th, another opportunity around the 15th. Not necessarily better opportunities. You shouldn't wait for them. Use them as backups. That's the power of SO meta-analysis, is that you have backup exits. You can't do that with any other form of analysis. And the real power is not in being right so often. It's in the moments where we were a little bit off, or you could consider us wrong because we're like several days off on something. It happens occasionally. But in real time, that's what really differentiates SO meta-analysis from any other form, is that in real time in the Discord, I can clearly see where it went wrong, and then it becomes even clearer what happens next based on that in most cases. So really that's where the real power is being able to come back from mistakes really easily. And as somebody that has a monthly access subscription with the Discord trade alerts for all of these crypto and ticker symbols, Bitcoin, Nvidia, QUBT, Solana, Tesla, and XRP, as well as the day trades for SPY and S&P 500, all that stuff as part of the monthly access subscription. You also get the timing to the day of the highest highs and lowest lows, as well as all of the trades that we see throughout the month. You get that monthly access subscription by going to our website, TR for Traders, hovering over order now, clicking on subscriptions. Monthly access subscription gets you all that stuff. Plus the earliest access to any of our public posts that come out on YouTube come out on the Discord as well earlier. You subscribe here. This is $300 a month. These are game-changing services, guys. It doesn't get easier to trade this stuff than with the guidance of the person who founded and developed this system of analysis and has been trading professionally since the year 2000, my friends, when E-Trade was the only online broker. So blessings to all my angel investors. Thank you for everybody that goes ahead and does that. Blessings to all my angel investors. I will see you guys on the next one. Later.